I don't know how many of you know the actual history behind the anthem or not, but I'm going to just share a little bit of that with you. I've verified this from multiple sources and on the history of the national anthem. It was a rainy day, September 13th in 1814, and the British warships actually were raining down shells and rockets into Fort McHenry in Baltimore Harbor. They were absolutely pounding at the American fort for over 25 hours of shelling and bombing and gunfire. The bombardment, known as the Battle of Baltimore, came only weeks after the British had attacked Washington, D.C. They had burnt the Capitol, the Treasury, and the President's home. And it was another chapter in the ongoing War of 1812 and was taking place at this time. A few weeks prior to this, Francis Scott Key, he was a 35-year-old American lawyer. He had boarded the flagship of the British fleet on the Chesapeake Bay, and he had done this in hopes of persuading the British to release a friend who had recently been arrested. He was successful in negotiating the release of his friend, but because he had been there and him and his companions had been on the ships, they had gained some knowledge of the upcoming attack on Baltimore, and so the British did not want to let them go, that they would warn the Baltimore of the upcoming attack. So they didn't allow them to return back to Baltimore. They instead allowed the Americans to return to their own ship, but they continued guarding them and kept them there. And so under the scrutiny and underneath the guard of the British Empire, Francis Scott Key watched on September 13th as the barrage of mortar fire and rocket fire began 8 miles away from where he was at. He says this: "It seemed as though Mother Earth had opened and was vomiting shot after shell in a sheet of fire and brimstone. But when darkness arrived, Key only saw red erupting in the night sky. Given the scale of attack, I was certain the British would win. The hours passed slowly, but in the clearing smoke of the dawn's early light, on September 14th, I saw not the British Union Jack flying over the fort, but the American flag, which was announcing the American victory of holding that fort." It was then that Key put his thoughts on paper, was still aboard the ship. And he said his words to the tune of a popular English song at that time. His brother-in-law, commander of the militia at Fort Henry, read Key's work and had it distributed among the people there in Baltimore under the name Defense of Fort McHenry. The Baltimore Patriot newspaper soon printed it, and within weeks Key's poem, now called the Star-Spangled Banner, appeared in print across the country, immortalizing his words and forever naming the flag Star-Spangled Banner.
Folks, can you see by the dawn's early light what so loudly we hear at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad